Katie is sneaking through the brewery, Richard behaves completely different. So everything, I love it. I really love it because as soon as you taste the beers, it's also something. I see Richard like turning into a kid and the teacher being in the brewery. This is so fun. Actually, this is why we are here today with you, because this time our topic is how to taste a beer. Can that be so difficult? So, hello together. Welcome back to the Birtel-Craftbeer channel, where we have a lot of stories about the brewery and knowledge about beer. And today we have a new guest in the house.
Hello.
This is Katie, and we are very pleased that she's here. And basically, you're the reason why Richard is our brewer.
Do I want that credit?
Well, we are happy about it most of the time, I would say. But yes, we are very happy with Richard. And you've been kind of a brewery friends, a lot in the background.
Filling kegs.
Filling kegs,
needed,
helping when needed. So, Katie, tell us, why are you here? Where do you come from? Why beer?
Yeah, good question. So I'm American. I've been in Switzerland for 16 years now. I'm actually also Swiss since a couple of years. I don't have the nice accent that Danny has yet. But yeah, I'm a chemist by training. I did my PhD studies at the ETH in Zurich, the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology.
How long is that ago?
Finished in 2012.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
A while ago. So yeah, I'm trained as a chemist, studied medicinal chemistry, toxicology, specifically anti-cancer drugs from mushrooms and their bioactivation into active compounds that damage DNA.
Wow.
And after I finished my PhD, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And during this time, I wasn't really finding beers that I liked in Switzerland. I was looking for these IPAs, like that was the kind of the beginning of my foray into beer, and wasn't finding these hoppy beers like you find in the US.
Yeah.
So I thought I could probably brew some. So I started home brewing.
That was here in Switzerland?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I am very confident if I would not have moved to Switzerland, I never would have gotten into the beer industry.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was out of necessity because
So
I didn't like any of the beers.
brewing
So
in Switzerland.
yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
As a chemist.
As a chemist.
Yeah.
Chemist,
okay, so
microbiologist.
I mean, you have 80% of the knowledge.
Exactly. So it's great.
Yeah.
Because going
absolutely.
from a PhD in chemistry with like highly toxic things to a hobby where you can taste your experiments.
And makes fun.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it was a nice combination
good choice,
of
I
chemistry.
guess.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I started home brewing and then eventually ended up in pharma for a year doing a postdoc. But had the opportunity, was asked if I actually wanted to learn how to be a brewer in a small craft brewery in Canton St. Gallen. And I said, why not? So I left pharma.
No.
And then,
this is a typical American story. A Swiss guy or a Swiss guy-in, how you say a Swiss girl, would never do that. No, you will have the parents, Swiss guys, please say. You would have the parents and everybody would say, are you stupid?
Exactly, and that's exactly what happened.
You're a chemist in Switzerland. I mean, you have everything. You have the money, you have the companies to do a lot of money, and you go for a brewery.
I had the job. I finished the postdoc. I got the job offer, and I
think we talk about something completely else today.
That's
awesome.
I declined the offer, and they said, well, what are you going to do? We just spent a year training you. And I said, I'm going to go make beer. And they went, you're going to do what?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got laughed off the campus, and
that's awesome.
Been making beer ever since, or been in the industry since.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of respect for that. I mean, that's nice. But that must have been still also not just an easy decision for you.
No, not at all. No. I mean, my personal circumstances at that time allowed me to do that. It was I was married at the time. Financially, I was supported then to go from pharma salary to earning nothing, like literally nothing.
Brewery salary.
No, like less than brewery salary. Because I was just an intern. I was learning how to do everything.
Awesome.
So even,
and now
it wouldn't have been enough to pay for my health insurance. Like, it was not a lot of money. But I was learning everything on the job. And then within a year, I was the head brewer. I was the person who knew everything in the brewery, or the most.
Yeah, wow.
And
awesome.
now I work for the biggest brewery in Switzerland.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. True. True. That's an awesome story. And that's been, 10 years? No, a bit more?
Yeah, we'll say 10. Close to 10.
Yeah, 10 years.
Yep.
And again, when Katie is sneaking through the brewery, Richard behaves completely different. So everything, I love it. I really love it because as soon as you taste the beers, it's also something I see Richard like turning into a kid and the teacher being in the brewery. This is so fun. Actually, this is why we are here today with you, because this time our topic is how to taste a beer. Can that be so difficult?
Yeah, we can make it very complicated. It seems like a very simple thing.
Yeah.
But it is an extremely important part of beer production throughout the whole process. You don't wait until that beer is in a bottle to taste it. You should be tasting it along the whole way. And what you're experiencing, that gives you clues as to what's happening in the process on the brew day, during fermentation, before packaging, and then as that beer ages.
Yeah, this is also what Richard is doing with me since he's here. He tries always to pull me into the brewery and take me on that journey of a beer. And also it needs a lot of experience.
Well, tasting needs practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, and this is the topic of today, and I see you came prepared.
Yeah, so sensory tasting, experiencing a beer, you use all of your senses.
Yeah.
And so I kind of brought this as an exercise to demonstrate, how some of those senses interact with one another and how they have an influence on our perception. So just to start, there's 3 different products here. If you just want to give them a taste and tell me what you are perceiving.
Okay. I like the colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do I
start?
start?
I won't give any instructions. Just.
Oh, really? Randomly.
Have a taste. Tell me what you're tasting. Tell me what kind of.
What I smell.
What you smell. What you taste.
Yeah, it's very fruity, citrusy, grapefruity, sweet. Not too sweet, but it's a soft drink, obviously.
Okay.
Sparkling, refreshing, not that cold.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's sufficient. Yeah.
Okay.
Next one.
Next one.
Don't think about it too much.
Okay, it's the same thing. It just looks different.
Okay, and the third one?
I would say 3 times the same thing.
Hey! Those were not the answers you were supposed to say.
Oh,
but
shit.
So this is, I've seen this done with people testing popsicles or something.
Yeah.
Where the tasters are experiencing different flavors based on the color. But it's actually the same product. So I failed here.
No, you didn't fail.
Or
actually,
you just heard,
you didn't
you
know.
heard how many cans I opened.
It's no. It's such a specific drink connected to my childhood.
Okay. Well, it's
Is
not
it
Pepita.
Pepita?
No.
Oh,
No.
But whatsoever, that grapefruity thing, Pepita, just for the guys who do not know, it's a local grapefruity soft drink, like a how do you say, lemonade?
Yeah.
Yeah. But what is it then?
This, so it's Feldschlossen 00 Zitrone.
No way.
Yes way. With some color added into the two. And so where I've seen this done before, it was actually in a commercial. And when they ate the orange one, they thought, oh, it tastes like oranges. When they had the red one, they thought, oh, that's some red berry flavors, but it was the same flavoring throughout all. It was just the eyes playing a trick. And so this exercise, unfortunately, didn't have the outcome I was expecting, but
still, it's very interesting. It would have worked probably with another flavor.
Maybe. But anyway, so this is also, this kind of plays into the tastings that you guys have done with the boxes, the blind tastings, where you don't know what you're drinking, but you're also not seeing what you're drinking. Yeah. Your eyesight, the visual interaction you have with the liquid, that has a huge influence on what you're experiencing. It already makes you biased to what you think you're going to have. Yeah. If I look at this, I think, okay, it's maybe like a blue raspberry flavor or something right off the bat. So if your sensory skills weren't so fine tuned already, maybe I would have tricked you, but
I wouldn't say that. But no, thank you. This is quite interesting. And
hopefully you
honestly,
don't have blue teeth.
What? Do I have blue teeth? No, it's gonna be fine. You have, but it's,
do I?
Yeah, it looks fun. Oh. No, everything's fine. So, okay, let's get into the tasting. What are the important things when you taste the beer?
Glassware is important. Temperature is also important. So these are pretty cold. I should have brought my infrared thermometer. Depending on the beer style, there's different recommended temperatures for drinking. Okay. In the end, the most important thing is that you are enjoying your experience. You don't have to do all of these things. It doesn't matter. There are no rules. There's guidelines, but the most important thing is that you have a nice time doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. But we
there's
do...
no reason to create extra stress and pressure that, I don't have the right glass.
And also we don't want to get too nerdy about all this, but still we have people asking, hey, Daniel, how do you actually taste the beer? And I'm not a beer sommelier. I heard
I'm not a beer
You're
sommelier
not a beer
either.
Sommelier as well, but you taste a lot of beer, and it's your
daily
I
work in
routine.
Sensory, so
yeah.
I'm tasting beer every day.
Yeah.
I'm teaching people how to taste beer.
You're the right person to do this. Okay, so one thing, temperature.
Yep, so we have two different beers here. Lager, red ale.
Yeah.
Just on that alone, I would recommend drinking the lager at a colder temperature compared to the red ale. The colder the temperature, as the beer warms up, the flavors come out of the beer. So red ale is dry hopped?
Yes.
Dry hopped, you have more malt character as well. You're gonna experience more of that if the beer is a little bit warmer. Fail safe, it's always good to start the beer a little bit colder. You can always warm it up. It's
what
harder
is cold?
To chill it
5
down.
degrees?
No, that's pretty cold.
So warmer?
So we do our tastings at like 8 degrees, plus or minus 2 degrees.
Okay.
But that's for all beer styles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say 8, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
Is a good range.
And then in the glass it warms up quite
exactly.
Yeah.
It's tricky to cool the beer back down, but easy to warm it up. So here we use our hearing senses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you use all of your senses when you experience beer.
Okay.
So by opening it, depending on what I hear when I open the bottle, I already have an idea of maybe how carbonated it is. You're also watching, is there bubble formation? Is it going to be a gusher? Is it completely flat? Gusher. So if you have hop creep or something, or if it's over-carbonated.
Hop creep.
That's a whole other, lots of other things to talk about. So you don't want to drink this one?
No,
you're going to do red? Okay.
I want to take red. So let's have the experience here. I like the noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you have the Bugeflaschen.
Yeah.
So using our ears, using our sense of touch, have an idea of what the temperature is. When we pour the beer, also depends on the beer style and how nerdy you want to get, but normally 45-degree tilt of the glass. You want a little bit of head on the beer.
Yeah. If there comes some.
Yeah.
All right.
And at this point, there's things that we can, certain things to look at this point. So the head on the beer, the foam, how long does that head stick around? Does it go away very quickly? Is it not there at all?
Is the head an indicator for good or bad beer?
Yes.
Really?
Do you want to drink a beer without foam on it?
No, for the look, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with you because the taste begins also with what you see. But does it mean it's bad beer?
It's an indication.
Okay.
So, I don't know, do you drink sour beers?
Not much.
Okay. Sour beers tend to not have a lot of head retention because the acids will interfere with the proteins that make up the head. And so if it's like a normal lager beer without any head, I might think maybe we have
a lager beer without head seems awkward.
Yeah. So maybe there's a micro
On the ale
problem.
side, I had many ales, different ales, and I experienced that the head retention there is often lower. Not always, but
it depends on a lot of things. It depends on your ingredients. It depends on your brew process. There's a lot of influential factors.
So you already see that on the red ale, it's much.
You've
less.
got a little bit. You've got a little bit there.
Yeah.
But so the glass. These are great tasting glasses. It's nice to have. You don't want to. If you fill the beer all the way up to the top, you have nowhere to stick your nose in. So it's nice to have some headspace in order to be able for the aromas to collect, for you to smell that before you drink it. So
staying with the glass, I mean, there are, I feel, hundreds of different glasses, and people say, you need to take a tulip, and the other say, no, you need to take a Stange, and the other say, no, you need to take the big one. Do you think it really matters, the right glass?
There used to be a bar in Basel called Penguin, I think. Do you remember it?
Oh, yeah.
Belgian beer bar.
A lot there. Yeah.
And the owner had... So in Belgium, every brewery, every beer has its own glass, its own branded glass. And this guy would not serve you beer. If there were other people drinking that beer and you ordered the same beer and he didn't have the right glass, he would not serve you the beer.
Is it closed?
I don't think it's there anymore.
So the Penguin was really a beer bar in Basel, and he had a beer menu.
And a mustard menu.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
True. He had a huge book. No, it was like Ordner. How do you say?
Yeah, full binder.
Binder.
Yeah.
Full with beers, and he had all these beers on stock in bottles mostly, with the label in the book, and more than a couple of hundred beer.
Yeah.
It was awesome. However, he also had each glass for each beer.
Yeah. So you can have, typically when you order a Pilsner, it comes in a certain shaped glass. If you order an Imperial Stout, it might come in another shaped glass. It's more depending on the beer and what you're going to be experiencing. If it's a aroma forward beer, it's nice to have it in a glass that has a rounded head shape to capture the aromas.
Yeah.
So
basically, actually quite the same like with wine.
Yeah.
I mean, something a bit bigger where the air can also move a little bit inside and has a little volume. Yeah.
But these, I find these stemless ones, or, with this general shape, that's a nice universal shape for beer drinking.
That's why we have them. They work very well. And I really also like to drink lager out of these. Okay, so this is what about the glass is important, and then the look.
The look, yeah. So we talked about the foam on the beer, the head of the beer. That just makes it look nice.
Yeah.
We can look at the turbidity of the beer. So can you see through it or not? That's also going to give me hints about how this might taste. We don't like to see chunks in the beer. I don't like to see chunks in the beer. Hazy IPAs, what did I say? Hazy IPAs, you're not going to be able to see through them. You have a variety of... What's amazing about beer is you have 4 ingredients and you have infinite number of combinations of these ingredients for an infinite amount of flavors, appearances, everything. That's what I love about beer.
Yeah.
So I'm already getting visual clues of like what this is.
Yeah. Can we finally taste it?
No,
Oh,
not yet.
no.
So then the next important step is smelling the beer first, because once you taste the beer, that's going to influence what you're tasting.
Yeah.
If you taste it and then smell it, it's going to be all muddled together.
Yeah.
So always start with the smell first.
Yeah.
And when you smell it, don't take like a big, because that's just gonna
cocaine, huh?
no that's just gonna saturate all of your receptors in your nose. You want to take short, small sniffs like a dog, like a bloodhound, like a.
Yeah. Okay. And then it depends how your nose sticks into the glass.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I see a lot of people going from the side to
I
the glass.
I don't know why I do it.
It just looks cooler.
I don't know. I always look on the right side of the glass.
Well, I like this beer.
So give a little sniff. There's so a lot of the flavors in beer are volatile, meaning they're going to, as they warm up, they're going to come out of the beer into the headspace. So me as a professional drinker, I'm always looking for some certain off flavors first, but that's just because I'm always working when I'm drinking, so I can't shut it off. So give it a few smells. Yeah. And then you can.
What about the closed swirl and then the whoosh?
Yep. So if you do like a whoosh with the hand on top, that's gonna trap those volatile flavors and concentrate them more. Yeah. So it gives you a more.
This is something I like to do.
Yeah, that also makes you look fancy. It also makes you look fancy.
Yeah, it looks professional and important.
Tasting is very subjective. It's really like, so you have, we're experiencing the same molecules are going into our nose. Yeah. But the connections between your receptors and your brain, and then what you have coupled to that,
absolutely,
that stimulation is so different. And it also depends on, like, are you in a bad mood? Are you in a good mood today? Like, that has a huge influence on what you experience.
Yeah. But also, my biggest challenge in tasting beer is the translation of what I've tasted, and I can't figure out the words for it.
And that takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
A lot of practice.
This is what I'm missing.
Yeah. Those connections in your brain, it takes a long time to build that up. There's
especially for me, it's a lot colors and pictures I get, but not words.
There are some people who taste colors.
Yeah. So I definitely, it sounds strange, and now we go in that strange area. But it's not a color I see, but it's that feeling of it gets not a pattern, but it gets a color or a dark light. I don't know. It sounds weird, but I get that. True.
Yeah, people experience it that way.
Yeah. Okay. So we've been with the look and then the sniff,
and now we should drink it.
And now we're able to drink it.
I always start with a small sip. So you have the aftertaste is important in drinking beer. It's not like wine where you're going to spit it out. We get a lot of information about the viscosity of the beer, the carbonation level, when it sits in your mouth, and when you swallow and breathe back out. This is called retronasal, and so you get a lot of other flavors from that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you swallow the beer, close your mouth, and breathe out of your nose, that'll also send more aromas up to your brain.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. What about that slurp thing that people do? Yeah.
That's just an aeration technique. So to get air into the beer, anytime you get air into the beer, that's going to bring aromas out of the liquid.
And then after you swallowed, a lot is going on also in the back, especially with beer, I think. Hoppy beers even more. And this is something I really like. I call it a hop kick.
Okay.
Or the bitter kick, which happens here. Yeah.
I mean, like, all this science about taste buds and stuff has been, before we learned that the salty, the sweet, bitter taste buds are in different parts of the mouth on the tongue, but they're everywhere. Yeah. They're maybe slightly concentrated in one area over another, but bitterness tends to be more bitter ones in the back. But you also feel like once you swallow it, the alcohol content of the beer.
Mm-hmm.
Is it burning? Is it warming? Is
Mhm.
it the viscosity?
Mhm.
So like your imperial stout versus the lager are going to have very different feelings
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
mouth
I
and when you swallow them.
Yeah. I have to think about my grandfather at the moment. We had always a beer Saturday evening together, and he loved the lager.
Mm-hmm.
And he always said, yeah, he took that sip. And then he said, "Oh, Angelibrons."
He said what?
Angelibrons. Yeah, so it's like the pee of an angel. But he also said, and that's also the experience I got then, that picture of what beer gives me especially when I'm very thirsty in the summer feeling. That bitterness in the throat is so Genugtuung. How do you say? It's a nice feeling. And he said Angelibrons to that.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, angel
Okay.
pee. Yeah, and that sensation of what happens after you swallow.
Well, that's also that's an important part of the beer as well. The finish of the beer, the aftertaste.
Yeah.
So when you take a sip, do you want to take another sip? I think this is probably the sensation that you're describing.
Mm-hmm.
A beer that has a nice finish on it is one that you're ready for the next sip. You want to have another one. Beers that are kind of flabby or they finish, you swallow them and it's gone.
Yeah.
Like it's not a very enticing experience.
Yeah.
So then water chemistry has a huge influence on that.
Yeah. So what are you looking for when you are tasting a beer like that?
I mean, I'm looking for balance in a beer, and I'm looking for that finish that makes me want to go for another sip.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something off-putting about the appearance, about the smell, like I'm not gonna drink it. Life's too short to drink shit beer. So I have very high standards.
Yeah. Katie, thank you so much for being here.
You're
It
welcome.
was a huge pleasure, hopefully for another time as well. Thank you, audience, for being here, and see you next time in the Birtel-friend channel. And cheers again.
Ciao. Danke.
Ciao.